Good afternoon, everybody. My name is miahtheking, and yes, this is my real voice. Today we're taking a look at a game just released on Steam called Project Wunderwaffe, or Wunderwaffe. It's German, and they pronounce their W's as V's. Man, I hope I didn't just embarrass myself by pronouncing that wrong. Anyway, developed by GamePeric and published by GamePeric, Games Incubator, and Playway SA. Selling for $15 American, this game was not released in early access. So this is supposed to be the final copy they chose to sell, alright? I decided to look at this game for two reasons. The first is that a bunch of people asked me to do it, and the second is because I love simulator games and I find the whole bunker simulator idea intriguing. Now, this is basically a tricky game for me to review here. It's a World War II base building simulator, okay? So that's its main premise. But it's received a lot of hate online on Steam because in this game you're playing as the German remnants during the end of World War II. Now, I'm a World War II buff. I love reading stories and learning about World War II, so this game is kind of right up my alley. But here's the thing. I'm not here to piss anybody off. I'm just here trying to review a game. If this topic is sensitive to you, I highly encourage you to run for cover. But if you don't care about stuff like that and just want to know if it's a good game or not, then welcome to the show. I hope I don't bore you too much. Now, as far as I can tell, you don't play as Nazis or the SS. I don't see any Nazi flags or SS flags or anything like that. I think you're just some regular German soldier trying to fight for his last inch. Okay, so please don't get super offended or upset, especially when I tell you that your goal of this game is to hold off the good guy armies so that the German army can win. So basically, the gameplay is simple. You're building a bunker. That's it. You build a bunker, gather whatever supplies you can, and ship them off to the front lines. You have tons of supplies you need to manage. You can mine resources deeper in the earth, which you can then smelt into hardened resources, and then use those hardened resources to craft all kinds of things, from metal coils to machine guns. You have a research tree, a supply mechanic where you have to send certain supplies to the front lines, and you'll even have spies from the enemy enter your bunker and sabotage or blow up rooms. But hold your horses, it's not like Evil Genius or anything. It's all done off screen and you just have to react to it. It would have been a lot cooler if you could actually see a lot of this stuff happening, but whatever. Now, I've played a few games like this, and this one so far seems pretty on the level. Now, I'm going to go into the good things about this game first before the negatives, but I urge you to please stay and watch the negatives because there might be something in there that could just turn this game off for you. Also, if you find this video amusing or informative, please like and subscribe. Now then, the first thing I like is that the game released fully finished and for only $15. I mean, that's pretty good right there. Considering the replayability, the difficulty, and the length of time it'll take you to play it, plus the content and quality here, $15 is a really good deal. And here's the thing, I don't think you can win in this game. Obviously, I mean, the Allied forces win in the end. You know, you can't change history. The only thing you can do is see how long you can last. The game gives you a counter on the top left, and this counter signifies when the Allied forces get to you. All you can do is send supplies to the front line to give yourself more time before they win. So, honestly, you're in competition with yourself. You lasted 40 days this run. Next time, let's see if you can last 50, 60, so on and so on. So, that's what I mean by challenging and replayability. The graphics are okay, I guess. It's not the prettiest game, but there is a lot of attention to detail that I really enjoyed. The view outside your bunker is really well done, and the attention to detail in the rooms is really spot on as well. I mean, you can really pick out the little individual items in each room, and that's pretty cool. As for the sound effects and the music, they're okay, I guess. The music mostly disappears, and it's very forgettable, and the sound effects are kinda, well, lame and uncreative. I mean, don't get me wrong, they sound appropriate, but still, there's something about just hearing that one machine sound over and over again when you've got 30 machines going. Know what I mean? But it sounds accurate, so there's that. And as for the gameplay, well, it's pretty darn addictive. I mean, I had to stop and restart once I had a better understanding of what I was doing, but yeah, it's pretty addictive. There's always something more to do or research or build or whatever. So yeah. Oh, and it has a tutorial. I forgot to put that in my notes, so I'm ad-libbing now. But there's a tutorial, and while it might not be the most detailed tutorial or even the most helpful tutorial that I've ever seen, at least there is one there, and every time you build something new or research something new, it pops up and tells you about it. So that's nice. That's good. I don't like how it's not very structured. It's kind of like waiting until you do something to teach you, which kind of defeats the point in my book. But hey, you know what? I'd rather have that than no tutorial at all. Okay, so that's all I got to say about the positives of this game. Now I gotta go into the negative points, or at least the things that really bothered me in some way, shape, or form. So the very first thing that I need to mention is the game's lack of stability. No, it didn't crash or freeze on me, but when it first started up, all my options were really weird. And I got my mouse stuck a few times for no reason, and even after fixing all that, the game still jitters from time to time. I'm just hoping it won't be in my recording. The next thing that bugged me was the controls and the user interface. They are so badly designed that it's just super frustrating for me, and I'm now going to give you all the examples of all the things that are badly designed, or maybe broken, with the controls and the user interface. That's right. I'm gonna bore you with the details. The camera control is just broken. Sometimes it gets stuck and won't let you move the camera, and sometimes it just shoots off to the side randomly. WASD is supposed to move the camera, but sometimes D just doesn't work. No, not D, S, sorry. Anyway, sometimes S doesn't work, and you can't go down, so you'll have to use the right click, which is the same button to cancel building something, by the way, to drag your screen. The escape button will pause, right? That's per the norm, and take you to the menu, as you'd expect, but it won't get you out of it, so you'll have to click return to game to get out of it. Now, this isn't a big deal, but for a seasoned gamer, it's frustrating because my mind is already adapted to hitting escape to enter and exit the menu. It's just weird. There's absolutely no way to demolish tunnels or elevators. At least I couldn't frickin' figure it out. So if you place them in the wrong spot, then you're just screwed. Work around it, I guess. Also, sometimes they just won't connect, and the game doesn't give you a reason why, so I can only assume it's because it's broken. You can demolish rooms, though, but when you do, if people are working in it and you didn't take them out first, then guess what? They die alongside with the room. They just disappear. So be careful, or you'll find yourself with only 5 out of 20 workers like my first playthrough. Take them out of the room first before you demolish it. To me, this is a very, very, very dumb development decision. Or maybe it's a bug, who knows? But if it's a development decision, like, why? Why would you make it so that if you demolish the room, the people stay in there and die along? That doesn't make any sense at all. I'm hoping it's just a bug. And last but not least of the things that annoyed me was no shortcut buttons to speed up, slow down, or pause the game. Why not? This is really frustrating. Every other game like this has that, so why don't they? And you know what? The game does briefly put up a screen that tells you what the key bindings are, but then as far as I could find, there was no way to pull that back up. So I couldn't figure out what the key bindings were. And it's not in the options, so where'd they go? What do I do? How am I supposed to know this? So those are the problems that I discovered with the gameplay and the UI. Now, although the gameplay is addictive, as I mentioned earlier, in a good way, now here's why it's not so good. Because the gameplay is also very repetitive. You build this, so you can build this, so you can build that, so you can ship this, so you can do it all over again. See what I mean? That's pretty much 90% of the gameplay. So if that doesn't sound very interesting to you, then you might want to pass on this one. It's not even so much a bunker management kind of game, because there's really nothing to manage other than the resources coming and going from your bunker. Your whole mission is just to find, create, or research new things that you can ship off to the front. Now, I know what you're thinking, that's the whole point of the game. And it is, but the actual process of playing it and doing that is very repetitive, and it can get kind of boring, because it's just the same thing over and over again. Everything that you've been watching is pretty much all the game has to offer. I mean, sure, I'll unlock new rooms, or factories, or whatever, but this is pretty much it. The only real cool stuff is that further along down the research tree, you can research new weapons and parts and stuff that you can also send to the front line, all in an effort to prolong that timer, but you don't get to see any of the cool things you create. You just ship them off to be used off screen. For me, this one is a tough one. I mean, technically, other than the horrible controls and repetitive gameplay, there's nothing else really wrong with this game. So, should I recommend it? Well, again, that's the tough one I'm talking about here. In all honesty, I gotta leave it up to you guys out there. If you want something kind of laid back and all about mass production of war goods, then yeah, pick this up. It'll be a lot of fun, right up your alley. But if you were looking for something with more in-depth or varied content, or maybe a faster action-y style of gameplay, then this is definitely not for you. If you're looking for a bunker management kind of game, this is definitely not for you. One thing's for sure, though, with that price tag and the possibility of length and replayability, and hopefully they'll iron out a lot of these bugs in the next few months, it's really not a bad deal. So even if you're a little bit interested, then I'd have to say give it a chance. Who knows, you might just like it. But if you're watching this and it doesn't look very fun to you, then you're not really missing out on much. I know that's kind of, crazy back and forth. I'm contradicting myself a little bit, but that's because that's just the quandary that is this game. That's the enigma that is this game. It's like, I don't know. On the one hand, it's not technically doing anything wrong, but a few bugs and design decisions that could probably be ironed out. But on the other hand, is it really doing anything good enough or right enough for me to warrant recommending it to everybody who sees the video? I don't know. So I just have to let the video and all that I said before now speak for itself. So you guys are going to have to make your own decision after watching this. I can't recommend or non-recommend because I don't know what you're looking for. But that's all I got to say right now. If you guys have any questions or concerns, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks so much for watching. I can't wait to see you all again on my next adventure, and until then, I bid you all farewell.